It was a trust forced on the West more than 100 years ago, one that has defined us ever since: our public lands. They are a playground for many, the source of much of our water and wildlife. It's where we go to get away. But there's a price to be paid when more than 60% of your state is federally owned. Some see it in the proposed restrictions to waterways. Some see it in the struggle of small counties to make ends meet. And some see it in the federal agencies themselves.
They don't have a mission. They don't understand what their direction is, and they're trying to take direction from the public, which really, in many ways, is not workable.
I don't think the Forest Service has lost its mission. I think the Forest Service has lost its constituency.
How do we measure success on these millions of acres of public land? And how can we even achieve success with daunting budget shortfalls and a public demanding conflicting things?
We're concerned about species recovery. There's fuels, both around communities, uncharacteristic fuel loads out in the forest. We are in this thing together, and it's very complicated, and time is ticking.
Collaboration to me is almost a Band-Aid on something that's more serious. If the Forest Service in particular were doing its job, you wouldn't need these collaborative efforts.
Amidst the tall peaks and the sagebrush plains of the Intermountain West, Outdoor Idaho takes the pulse of the people's land.
Funding for Outdoor Idaho is made possible by the Friends of Idaho Public Television, by the Laura Moore Cunningham Foundation, committed to fulfilling the Moore's legacy of helping to build the great state of Idaho, and by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
If you look at a map of the U.S., almost all of the nation's public lands are in the West. In Idaho, that translates into about 20 million acres of Forest Service land, 12 million acres administered by the Bureau of Land Management. In all, nearly 2/3 of the state managed by the federal government. Hi, I'm Bruce Reichert, and welcome to Outdoor Idaho. Of course, it's all our land, and yet, perhaps now more than ever, folks are wondering just what it means to have so much public land in our state. At one point, this was all land in the public domain, inhabited by native tribes. The U.S. government took title through a series of purchases from other countries, through wars and through treaties. It was and is a place of remarkable wealth. Timber, minerals, and other raw materials, not to mention the awe-inspiring grandeur of mountains and rivers and vistas. For most of the nation's early history, Congress encouraged the settlement of the West by selling or giving away land. If you had a plow and a little ambition, chances are you could get a homestead. The railroads received extravagant tracts of land as incentive to connect the country east to west. And the timber companies also benefited, clear-cutting entire forests to provide wood for the mines and fuel for the smelters, and lumber for a growing population. One of the benefits of joining the Union in 1890 was that Idaho received some of that federal land, 2.5 million acres to be managed primarily for the education of its citizens. Eventually, this rush to extract wealth from the continent, from sea to shining sea, had a downside. Americans saw it in the harshness of the Industrial Revolution, in the destruction of the buffalo and other species. By the time an assassin's bullet had propelled Theodore Roosevelt to the White House, the nation was ready for someone who defined conservation as the wise use of the resource. Roosevelt was not shy about introducing change. Using conservation as a rallying cry, he and his chief forester, Gifford Pinchot, set about to expand the forests on federal land and to apply sound management. In their words, to help the small man make a living rather than help the big man make a profit. They seized upon an 1891 law empowering the president to set aside public lands as national forests. And they ushered in the modern era of Western land management, creating a bureaucracy whose goal was the efficient use of natural resources rather than exploitation and development. The wealthy syndicates despised Roosevelt, tried to defeat him at every turn. Public ownership of natural resources cut into their bottom line. Eventually, they forced legislation through Congress that forbade a president from unilaterally creating national forests. But by then, Roosevelt and Pinchot had increased federal land reserves from 40 million to more than 200 million acres. And a good chunk of that was in Idaho. Roosevelt was also active on another front, pushing the federal government toward dam construction and irrigation projects, like this one at Deer Flat Reservoir, later called Lake Lowell. The newly created Bureau of Reclamation began work on the reservoir in 1906, completing it in 1909. And that was the very same year Roosevelt declared Deer Flat a national wildlife refuge, thus making it one of the oldest in the nation's wildlife refuge system. At the time of its creation, there was little controversy. In fact, Deer Flat Refuge wasn't even staffed. But now, more than 100 years later, there is a controversy.
You can see how many 100 boats would look like out here in this little pond. That's not enough room.
In the summer of 2011, residents of Canyon County showed their disapproval of a proposal that could curtail some types of recreation on the reservoir.
They're passing laws late at night. That's what they did to us.
We don't like what they're trying to do to the lake. They have proposals and plans that they prefer that literally shuts the lake down, and I don't think that they understand that.
We've had enough, and this is just one of the shining examples where our government is doing nothing for us. They're doing everything to screw things up for us and ruin it for the future generations.
Among the nation's 550 wildlife refuges, Deer Flat is one of the few with a lake where recreation includes power boating and water skiing.
The reality is there are no studies at all on Lake Lowell to prove that we are having a negative impact on the wildlife.
When Roosevelt declared this a national wildlife refuge, Nampa was a young town of maybe 3,000 residents. Today, it's Idaho's second largest city, with a population of more than 80,000. This refuge has grown too, now comprising not only Lake Lowell, but also islands in the nearby Snake River.
As a refuge, we have to think about our purpose of the refuge, first and foremost. You know, what did TR set us aside for? And that, of course, was to provide a refuge and breeding grounds for migratory birds and other species. So we have to take that into consideration when we think about anything that we're going to do out here.
Jennifer Brown Scott is spearheading the new 15-year management plan, where one of the 4 options would indeed eliminate water skiing by requiring a no-wake zone.
If you have a conflict between a wildlife-oriented recreational use and a non-wildlife-oriented use, those that are wildlife-oriented or wildlife-dependent have to be given enhanced consideration. So that's something that Congress wrote into that law. It's something that we really have to consider as we move forward. I'm extremely optimistic. I think that there's always a path forward. You know, we just need to find it. We need to work with the public, getting all this great information and the great comments that we've received from the public has helped us a lot. Now we kind of gone this way, and now we're going to go back a little bit and try to find how to kind of carve that path. But I think it's there. It's just finding it.
This is a pretty typical scene in Grangeville, where 90 to 100 logging trucks a day bring in timber to this state-of-the-art facility. Grangeville is located near the Nez Perce and Clearwater National Forests, two of the most productive inland forests in North America. But the majority of these logs do not come from the national forests. They come from Idaho's own public lands, from industrial timberlands, and from private landowners. And this has led some to argue that federal policy is failing the West's small timber towns, and that maybe the Forest Service has lost its way.
They don't have a mission. They don't understand what their direction is, and they're trying to take direction from the public, which really, in many ways, is not workable.
Bill Higgins is responsible for keeping the logs flowing into this mill. But with only about 20% of them coming off federal lands, that's been difficult.
It's been a stalemate. And the conservation groups are, not seeing the protections that they want to see on wildland deserving of protection. The forest industry is not seeing the level of forest management we'd like to see and all of the employment that goes with it and improved wildlife habitat, especially big game.
It's why he's part of something called the Clearwater Basin Stewardship Collaborative. It's a group of politically diverse folks attempting a new method of managing federal lands through collaboration and public involvement, with the blessing of the Forest Service. But there's one thing everyone agrees on. The Clearwater Basin is definitely worth the effort. This is part of the largest complex of wild public lands in the continental U.S. There's country here that Lewis and Clark would still recognize. But for the past few decades, the fights here have been contentious and largely unresolved. And some folks figured it was time to try something different.
You can get so much more done in a collaborative way, and I've been amazed by it, to be honest with you, that, when I have a problem, I have Idaho Conservation League, Wilderness Society, Trout Unlimited, Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, all going to bat for me.
Well, it's true. We've learned that it's not just good enough to say, okay, your thing is your thing, good luck. But if we're going to work together, Bill Higgins' interests, sustainable timber logging interest, sustainable forest management interest also has to be our interest. So we have to go all the way through and help them out.
Rocky Barker has written about the timber wars of the 80s and 90s, when folks like John McCarthy were viewed as the enemy by the mill owners. Turns out some of yesterday's adversaries are now friends, something which may surprise many people.
A lot of Idahoans are still caught in the timber wars of 20 years ago. They don't recognize what Higgins and others have learned is that their best partners now are their old enemies. And it takes a while for people to work their way through that kind of thing.
Some say this new spirit of collaboration started here in the Owyhee Canyonlands. That's where ranchers in the environmental community reached across the rhetorical divide and came up with protections that benefited all sides. It was the threat of a president unilaterally setting aside all this federal BLM land as a national monument that finally brought folks together. In north-central Idaho, the threat is different, but every bit as real. In August of 1910, the Clearwater Forest exploded. It was and still is the worst wildfire in the nation's history. Towns destroyed. 86 people killed. Millions of board feet of timber vaporized in a matter of hours. And the realization that it could happen again has convinced many in the environmental community that parts of the forest need to be thinned.
We've seen a lot of fire in the last 20 years, but I think we're going to see more. But we also have an opportunity, because we know that, and we are building a consensus on how to manage these lands, that we actually could begin doing a lot more timber cutting from an ecological standpoint.
Ranger Randy Swick wishes he could get out more, like in the old days. But the paperwork and the meetings never seem to end. This 32-year veteran of the Forest Service has been a public servant in just about every region of the West. He's one of the best of a class of rangers whose retirement, when it comes, will hit the federal agency hard. That's a lot of experience and institutional memory to lose. Luckily, Randy Swick still likes his job, still figures he can do some good for the public and the resource. And he's proven that here at Bumblebee Meadows, a series of lush meadows along the little North Fork of the Coeur d'Alene River. A perfect getaway for a family looking to commune with nature for free. But you wouldn't have thought so just a few years ago.
If you look back, you'd have seen basically tracks all over, big mud holes, and certainly not the desired condition for the meadow, and not even a good recreation experience at the time.
The county sheriff called it a public safety hazard and wanted it closed.
The county commissioners said, hey, this serves an important recreational value here to the valley. This has been a long-term favorite for a lot of the locals.
So, with help from the region's Resource Advisory Committee and the University of Idaho, Swick and his team set about to save Bumblebee Meadows.
When we came in and designated this as one of the access routes into the meadow, rather than building it up, we actually dug down and put down some geotextile fabric, bigger rock, and then laid in this coarser rock on the surface to allow the floodwaters to just flood over this just as it does throughout the rest of the meadow.
Quite an impressive transformation for this meadow, and some might argue, for the Forest Service itself. This part of Idaho used to be Paul Bunyan country. Massive white pines and a timber industry that produced millions of board feet of lumber for a growing nation. But that was yesterday. There's still some logging, but today it really does seem like the Forest Service is moving in a different direction.
We are seeing more and more people on that landscape, more and more people wanting something from that forest. I don't know that it's that we're lacking a common vision of caring for land, serving people, as much as just the challenges of trying to provide that program when you have declining budgets, when you have less staff. You know, the staff that I have on this district today is 1/3 of what it was just 20 years ago. I guess my big thing has always been, let's make a difference to the best of our ability with what we're given. If we can find ways to compensate through partners, through grants and agreements and other means of getting the work done, much like what we saw with the meadows there, hey, we still have the ability to affect change and make something happen.
In the mountains above the Ketchum-Sun Valley area in central Idaho, it's easy to believe that this is the preferred mode of transportation. The trail system here is one of the best in the nation. You can even find something called a flow trail, a high-speed downhill run for cyclists only that relies on gravity and the natural contours of the land.
It's a new type of trail. It doesn't erode to any great degree, and the whole idea is to use centrifugal force of your bike to kind of flow through the terrain features that are built into the trail. This particular one is about 1.3 miles long, so it's not a huge percentage of our trails. It's just providing a different experience in a specific location.
Providing a different experience for trail users seems to be an important part of what the Forest Service and the Bureau of Land Management does around the Ketchum-Sun Valley area.
Each community or area is a little different, and that's the beauty of the Forest Service, is that it is diverse. As society evolves and kind of what their desires and needs are from public lands, agencies have to step up and try to meet those needs.
After the 2007 wildfire, Nelson took advantage of federal restoration funding to improve and restore the trail system damaged by the fires. Local grants and donations and volunteers helped out too.
I moved out here 6 years ago, not knowing a soul, and so the trails became my first best friend. And there's hundreds and hundreds of miles of trails. I'm still actually exploring them. It's endless.
I think the best thing that's happened to Sun Valley is the bike trail. We had that national championship race here in July that brought a couple thousand riders, expert, advanced riders, all ages, and put on a phenomenal show. They're coming back again next year, and I think that really put us on the map for mountain biking.
It's also an economic engine for this valley, and it's a good bit of the lifeblood of why businesses succeed here and why people are able to live here and make a living.
The emphasis away from timber harvest has hurt other small counties. More than 3/4 of Boise County, for example, is federal land. Counties have historically relied upon a share of the timber receipts from logging on federal lands to pay for schools and roads, but logging has dropped off.
What can the county do if this money disappears? Well, there's no way that we as a county can tax federal land. It's exempt under federal law.
Commissioner Bob Fry says Congress made a deal with states and counties back in 1905 to provide compensation in lieu of taxation.
To eliminate funding now without releasing the land for development is really reneging on a deal that was made. And that's an important consideration.
Idaho's Governor Butch Otter thinks there's a solution that could benefit not only Idaho's counties, but also the Forest Service itself.
The biggest problem with the federal land is nobody's paying attention. When you have bug infestation and the fine fuels aren't removed or controlled, when they won't take care of their noxious and invasive weeds, they may well look to the states as a partner and say, we will let you have some of the proceeds off those natural resources because we can't afford to go in there and establish a good forest health base. If they would do that, it gives us a much larger area from which to market certain natural resources and also protection buffers, because if we can help them with their forest health, it'll protect our state land forest health.
What federal agencies can accomplish depends in part on their budgets.
Since C. Sandris was our Interior Secretary, at that time we were spending about 2.4% of the federal budget on natural resource agencies. Today, we spend around 0.8% of our budget.
What they've done is reduce their presence on the ground in local communities. No wonder local communities don't feel in sync with the Forest Service anymore. They're not there like they used to be.
Political scientist John Freemuth teaches a natural resources class where the question of privatizing these public lands is an occasional topic.
They allow us to practice democracy. If these were all privatized, we would have no conversations about this. It'd be more, how the hell can I make enough money to get my share of that? Unfortunately, we sometimes lose the ability to talk how we can still have wise resource use and preservation. I don't know why we can't have both if we can tone down the holy rhetoric all the time.
Almost 70% of all the clean water that originates in the West comes from public lands or national forest lands in particular. Nobody is making clean water anymore. Nobody's making clean air anymore. Nobody is making land anymore. And what we have left is what we have left, and now everybody wants a chunk of it. A lot of people could write that off. Yeah, we don't care. You know, I'm only going to be here for 60, 75 years, and then somebody else will have to worry about it. Can't go there. We have to worry about it for the people who aren't going to be here. If you follow some of the works of the Iroquois nation, When they made a decision, they made it for 7 generations. And we don't do that. So let's get into the 7th generation way of looking at things, and maybe we can make this worthwhile worrying about.
Funding for Outdoor Idaho is made possible by the Friends of Idaho Public Television, by the Laura Moore Cunningham Foundation, committed to fulfilling the Moores' legacy of helping to build the great state of Idaho, and by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.